Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Ben the Human Plays Vagrus the Riven Realms. We're here in Cabor to buy a cat. we have a lot of stuff, first of all. We have things that we want to take across the desert. We got to hit some of these oil fields, and I'd really like to hit Charon Keep by the end of the episode today. But before we do that, we don't want to leave the city just yet. There's some cool stuff here. We're gonna go to the Kaljahar Souk. So, is like a market. So, occupying the streets and squares closest to the Great Eastern Gate of Cabor, the Kaljahar Souk is a cavalcade of colorful banners, loud merchants, and stinking animals, spiced foods, and a great many people under a veritable canopy of awnings. Winding narrow passages hide stores filled with exotic wares and curios, while stalls of all kinds are crammed into alcoves lining the walls. We would like to go to a bespoke shop and enter the menagerie, which appears to sell pets. One can smell the menagerie well before anyone sees it. Occupying a large space on the border of the slums and the souk, all kinds of small holding pens and storage buildings are jumbled inside the walled compound that reeks of animals. The shop itself is the only accessible part for the public, and entering you marvel at the wide range and variety of pets that are kept here. There are glass aquariums with exotic fish, cages being rattled by agitated colorful monkeys, boxes with transparent crystal tops containing huge spiders, and baskets with large snakes hissing under the lid. The proprietor, a wiry fellow with long pale hair and piercing blue eyes and a mustache, is feeding crickets to a large lizard that is clinging to his hand like a baby. He welcomes you and encourages you to take a look around or ask him about the creatures if you so wish. You nod and walk around. Do we have anything to sell? Oh, we could sell our dogs. We don't have falcons. Sell him a cat. A Jawu lizard. A parrot. Shriekers. Do something else. Let's buy something. So somebody mentioned the cat to me. It was Jake, I believe. So thank you for the intel that there's a cat here. It allows maximum resourcefulness and increases skulker and perceptive. So we'd have to apply that to miscellaneous or animals. Same thing with, I think any of these are animals or miscellaneous. So the falcons do hunting chance, scouting chance, which I don't do much of it, honestly, at all. The lizard does foraging. We already have Makoru for hunting and guarding. I like the cat. Even though it's the cheapest animal, you can only do it every 6 days. That's so weird. Let's get the cat. I have a new cat. Wonderful. Sell, we don't need to talk to him. Let's see here. What was the other shop here? The Dazzling Pattern, a carpet shop. The Dazzling Pattern is difficult to miss. Standing on the corner of two main thoroughfares of Souk, the robust 3-story stone building is bedecked with carpets of all shapes, colors, patterns, and sizes. They hang out of windows, are nailed to the walls, and attached to poles fastened to the ground for ground floor front pieces. All this creates the illusion that the building is made of carpets, but once you get inside, your jaw drops when you see there are even more carpets on shelves, tables, or in piles on the ground. The best quality pieces, truly works of art, are displayed on the top floor where you can reach by climbing a winding staircase. It is there that you meet a smiling elderly lady who turns out to be the owner of the shop. Dressed in exquisite satin and surrounded by the scent of a fruity perfume, she welcomes you to the Dazzling Pattern before embarking on a long rant about carpets. By the end of it, you learn that the carpets and tapestries are not the only the pinnacles of culture, but also a measure of person's taste and worth as a whole, really. There's something strangely likable about the lady despite her obvious derangement, and you catch yourself smiling and nodding as she points out obviously foolish things. Then she excuses herself and shuffles off. Interesting. We could buy a prized carpet. So it seems like these are kind of like treasure that you can buy and then maybe sell to somebody who wants a carpet. Yeah, interesting. Why don't we, every 30 days, why don't we buy an exquisite Tarkian carpet? That's very cool. Anything at the oh, that's where the Carpenters Guild is. The Jewelsmith? Ah, they just do jewelry. Okay, I'm just kind of learning what's available in the city here. Red Viper Tavern, is there any... I was wondering if maybe there was a new companion, but I haven't heard about a new companion. in the DLC, but that doesn't mean there isn't one. Famous spas? No, I think we'll be good. One last thing we'll do before we leave is explore the city. We have 11 days, right, of supplies. How far away is Charon Keep? It's 13 to 16. We'll probably be able to get some supplies in the oil fields and probably whatever Hactr is along the way. It looks like it's a combination oil field and oasis. So let's do an exploration of the city, since you can only do this so many times a day anyway, or once a day, I guess. All right, go for a walk and see what you can find. You run into some soldiers enjoying off-duty hours in an inn at the center of the Kaljahar Souk. There are legionnaires as well as Hanjari among them, and they seem to have hit it off, which is not a common sight if rumors are to be believed. Upon talking to them, you learn that they are veterans of the previous campaign against the Green Continent, and having completed their contract, they are now headed home wherever that might be. Since you know quite a lot of things about the North, they invite you to a few rounds of drinks. About the South, the opposite of North. Accept them, but leave the inn for after one drink. Let's stay and talk to the soldiers. Why not? You share a few rounds of drinks with the veterans. They're eager to hear news of the South. Their eyes widen and their jaws drop upon hearing about some of your exploits, the madness of the winds and the strife in the West. In turn, you learn from them about the war in the North. By all accounts, it is not going well for the Empire. The Sacred League has successfully obstructed or outright crushed all of the half-dozen Imperial campaigns in the past few years. They have failed to gain ground themselves, but that was mostly due to the Empire's scorched earth strategy. Any land taken is irrevocably ruined by dark magic in a matter of months. But despite the Triumvirate Church's best efforts at passing these off as victories, the legions are heaving with the effort to mount any sort of offensive, at least sporadically. Worse, the Hanjari are complaining about being used as grist for the mill lately instead of relying on unliving legionnaires because of nigh open strife between the necromancer clans. In the end, you learn that 3 of the veterans are stuck here, unable to return home due to the mad winds and the blockade. They seem bitter. They have not seen their families for years. Of course, they do not know that you have a way of transporting people and goods across the south, across to the south by way of Kadath. This is interesting. Let's offer to take them south through the Outer Realms. We gained insight. Once you explain your plan to take them home across the Outer Realms, the veterans become ecstatic. They thank you profusely and assure you that they are useful old hands to have around a Comitatus. You send them over to the Manzio and tell them that you will return to the Wasteland South in due time. We gained a veteran of the North named TZS Larnak. Oh, they want to go to Torzeg Shelter, go to Larnak, go to Sunrock. That's cool. So we have 3 dudes that just kind of like hang out with us now. Passengers. They got some fighting skill. That's pretty sick. Very neat. All right, so I think we can head out. Do we have any space for supplies? We do not. Right? No. Okay, so let's head out. What are we taking with us? We're going to Hactr for 2 things, Charon Keep for 2 others. So we will have to just replenish the supplies we have in the meantime. So let's head out. Off we go. There. Now, first stop is Oilfield, Venari. And I think the best way is to kind of like scoot along here and then go straight up. Quick rest. Yeah, like right this way. Our morale is kind of low, I just realized. Get that extra movement, and we get to reach Oilfield Venari today, which means we can rest in the Manzio and maybe pay to get our morale back up higher. Let's fill out the supplies we're missing. Get back to 10 days. This is cool. Let's get some more rumors. So, Shadowy Frontier, exchange for news, obviously. The Hills Are Strange. Have you guys seen The Hills Are Alive? I think that's a terrible movie. For no reason. Let's see here. There's people that want to go to the Stygius Lumber Camp in the Onyx Outpost. That is the opposite direction where we're going. And Uten Grey is like over here, right? Yeah, yeah. No, none of you are going in the right direction. So you guys can hitch a ride somewhere else. Let's rest here. And let's check in with our companions real quick. We'll give Gorgoro some moon dust. How about your campaign of payback? How's that going? Why? There's 2 options. Story is in alignment. Let's do the second one. There's more stuff going on. Had a few of the efforts checked off the list. Still quite a few to go. Seems content enough where this undertaking is going. Okay. Gorgoro, I don't think I have any oil. Nah, sorry. We gotta remember when we go back to Torzeg's to visit his buddy. The research on life drain. Give him one of the ancient tablets. He has gained loyalty. Good job. Okay, we've done good there. Nadir is good. I don't think I have a trap kit. Show her the cat you picked up. Yes, cat. Gain loyalty. You grab the cat and walk over to Eilani. The half-elf smiles upon seeing the feline. Oh my, isn't she a beauty? She says, stroking the cat. Old era elves considered cats to be perfect creations of the gods, much like how they thought of themselves. They might have been wrong by the latter, but they certainly were right about the former. She gets down to a crouch and begins blinking slowly at the cat. It returns the favor. Ha, she likes me. Did you know that if you approach a cat carefully and get down lower to be closer to her level, then blink slowly, there's a good chance she'll accept you as a friend? Before you can answer, Eilani drawls on. There are tales of giant cats in the jungles of Damaha and Kish. They are much like the Malkin that roam the Bronze Desert, except they are not reptilian at all. Except even the Tarkians consider them sacred. I'd like to see them one day. The cat, having leaped out of your hold, is now lying on her back in front of Eilani, purring loudly. See? The half-elf points to her furry companion. She's showing me her belly, a sign of acceptance and trust. So you like Eilani, don't you, eh, you pretty thing? She proceeds to rub the cat and play with her. Anything else I can help you with? See, she's a cat person. I knew she was good. All right, we need to be on the lookout for more survival kits. How's this going? She shrugs. She always shrugs when I ask her about the worms. That's gonna be a long one. Any gifts? We can give her a vial of poison. All right, Krifta. We're gaining. Oh, she doesn't. I was like, what? She doesn't have a name. She just doesn't have an assignment. We should always be giving Garrick a gift. It's literally like pennies. Easy peasy. And then this guy, I forget what you even want. Gift? A stock of mushroom beer. That can't be ours. Gift him a pack of hounds. Sure. And then we'll go to our equipment here. We should rest first. So let's get, is this worth it? Morale, vigor, and nutrition? Or just vigor? Well, vigor's at 9. Yeah, maybe we'll pay just a little extra to get some morale up, and then the nutrition should help us with everything else as well, I think. Cargo, animals, cat. That is locked. The cat cannot be assigned. I gifted him a pack of hounds, but I guess that didn't get rid of them. So we would like to get this other thing unlocked, and I can't remember which deputy it is. Although I don't think I can have more than 6 anyway. I think somebody said you can't have more than 6. I can't remember. Anyway, let's continue onward. We should go to... Oh, before we leave, we should get the rest of the supplies, because we did use some to rest. So more supplies. Leave. And then we're going to book it past the stone gate. And then just continue. We'll pop into Renaris here. To get some more supplies. And then we'll head up to the oasis. Let's see. Probably this way. Yeah, this is 7, this is 6. Just a little bit faster if we go this way. Everybody's doing great. Ah, yes. I think the nutrition boosted us to 9 without even having to wait. Or we got lucky and our morale went up. Oh, no, wait. Our morale goes up when we fully guard. Never mind. Let's see here. A little more supplies. 10 days again. And then let's just keep going. Straight into the desert. Oh, hello. The wind picks up slowly but steadily until it is clear that a sandstorm is about to hit. Fortunately, it is a milder storm and should not be much of a problem. Pulling up your hood and hiding your face behind a scarf, you order your crew to do the same and push ahead. I don't think we need to do the test. Yeah. You cross the sandstorm without much of a problem. We did lose a little movement, but we can get the movement back with our movement speed buff and continue on our way. Really, the only thing we missed out is being able to try and forage for supplies, but that's fine. Let's see. Okay, so this is going to be a bit of a journey. So we're just going to kind of roughly go at a northwesterly tact here. Just kind of like continue along that way. Oh, that's a new one. Ahar Kadada. Maybe we should hit there on the way just so we have it on the map. I think I will. Plus, insight farming is always a good thing. Let's see. I think we want to go here. Straight west. And then probably we can just, like, go north from here. We'll just have to check where we are on the map. All right. New place. Ahar Kadada. Rah! Oh, whew. The Legate's forces. I was like, I've been ambushed. Help. The tranquil waters and shady thickets of Ahar Kadada, the field of the sun's bounty, have a long history of drawing unlikely pioneers of the wasteland, yet the oasis was never properly settled until quite recently. Whether anyone can find solace in this wayward glade or if they shall join the long line of failed colonies is anyone's guess. We'll visit the house of Hactr, someone or other. You stand before the windswept, towering structure of sandstone that is the weathered compound of Ahar Kadada, bedecked with the blue-white banners of House Hactr. That's a new house. I don't think I've met those people. Out in the distance, lush palms sway in the desert's breeze, lining the paths that lead inward to the large lake. Colossal dunes form the backdrop of it all, jutting high above where the wind rakes at their lofty peaks, scattering sand carelessly. Enter the compound. Underneath the wind-battered walls and doorways that lead in every which direction, one massive reinforced double door lines between you and the grand central hall of the compound. All around you, grim-faced soldiers wearily go about their business, chatting, taking watch, and tempering their weapons. Around the sandstone structure's flanks, you spy Ahar Kadada's small market, rich with spice and dried fruit. Let's talk with the soldiers. Weaving between the meager offerings of shade and ample stalls that surround the compound, you come across two men dueling each other, honing their skills in the graceful dance of combat. You are swiftly made aware of the two men's skills with practice swords, so you observe for a while with your companions. They do not mind your presence, stopping after a time to engage in idle conversation with one whom they recognize as an outsider in Ahar Kadada. "Hail, Vagrus, what brings you to this lush paradise?" the first man says, with obvious sarcasm. You explain yourself and your goals as such as it pleases you, inquiring about the state of Ahar Kadada. The second man, a youthful, athletic fellow of wiry muscle, is quick to answer. "Ahar Kadada is under siege, Vagrus. Our brothers and sisters within these walls are what remains of the resistance against a relentless Bandul onslaught." "Sounds about right," the other man grins. "We'll be all right, mate. Don't fret. Decimus will make sure of it," he declares. You ask the men to elaborate on the predicament, and for the first time you notice recent scars on the second man, whose face remains grim despite his companion's best efforts. "The last attack was 3 days ago. They came at night, Kassar and his men. They targeted women, children, and other Bandul that live here in peace," he says, a deep breath. "Despite the pain and suffering it caused, that was a diversion. The Dune Stalker, as the locals call him, led another force through our front gate as we clamored to help the victims. We pushed back the second force eventually, but the damage was done." The other man merely nods now. His expression, too, has become dire. "That sounds rough. Why would you do that? Thank you for their stories. Take your leave shortly after. We lost some movement." Underneath the wind-battered walls and doorways that lead in every which direction. Oh, okay. We just read that. Let's enter the fortified halls. The vestibule is sparsely decorated with a single banner to House Hactr, bearing the emblazoned coat of arms in white set against a deep blue background. Doorways abound, some lead below, while others provide lodging in chambers beyond the hall. Rising above you and sprawling out before you is the grand hall itself, typically a bustling nexus of activity. Standing tall above all else is a large elevated dais, protrudes to the hall's far end, where soldierly types congregate. Seek out whoever is in charge here. As you move towards a slightly elevated dais at the far end of the hall, a slight, wiry man of medium build approaches you, appearing out of nowhere. He bows low, his lupine features cracking into a thin smile. "Greetings, Dominus. Forgive my intrusion. I am Regimus, the master's servant. You may call me Reg, as most men do. Now how may I be of service?" You tell the obsequious man that you seek an audience with the steward at Ahar Kadada, to which he nods sagely, taking a moment to ponder. "Certainly. And who are you, if I might inquire? A Vagrus? You and yours seem equipped for the wasteland." His smile returns, though there is little warmth in it. You confirm for Reg that you are indeed a Vagrus, and one that would prefer to speak with the person in charge. He nods again, bowing. "Of course, follow me." Spinning on his heel, he sets off at a brisk pace towards the dais in the distance, where a group of soldiers are congregating. You do as told, following the man apace. The man atop the dais is at once imposing yet similarly inviting. Even as you approach behind Rage, he regards you with measured interest, sizing up you and your comis, but one by one. The servant bows before his master, introducing you, while the man rises from his position, stepping forward to receive you. "Well met, Vagrus." He extends his arm forward, intending to shake yours. "Welcome to Ahar Kadada. I am Decimus Ectorius, protector and steward of the house Ectorius and this compound." His countenance relaxes slightly, giving way to the beginnings of a grin. "As I understand it, Vagrai are adventurers of the wasteland. Tell me, is it true?" You confirm that many Vagrai thrive in that role, but as to whether you are one such vagabond, you do not divulge. The man soon presses on as the rest of his elite guard and rage remain silent. "Ahar Kadada is beset. We face attacks at least weekly, sometimes on a near constant basis. To make matters worse, our enemies are a rogue tribe of Bandul, led by a dangerous madman known throughout these lands as Kassar the Dunestalker. The depraved fool and his warlike secret have killed many, with women and children among their number." Decimus sighs with a becoming grave. "They must be stopped, at all costs." You ask Decimus to elaborate on the Bandul tribe. After considering your question for a moment, Decimus begins by clarifying himself. "I do not begrudge the Bandul Vagrus. As long as they observe peace, they are welcome near our oasis, even in this very compound. What I will not abide is Kassar's bloodthirsty band. They kill for sport and loot, raping and pillaging with detestable abandon. Kassar will not compromise, nor is he a man of reason. He thrives on the suffering of others. I have known his ilk before, in the Legion no less, but in all my time as a leader of men, I have not witnessed such unhinged, cold brutality as his." Cutting straight to the heart of the matter, you ask Decimus the question that ultimately matters most. Can he and his men hold off or defeat Kassar's tribe? Do they know the location of their sacred? Decimus's features betray the truth as he speaks. "We only know the general area where their lair might be, Vagrus. My men and I hold strong here, but our numbers are dwindling due to the foe's hit-and-run tactics, and there was never enough of us to go tramping about in the wasteland to begin with. There has been no time to scout on the Bandul properly. Worse, tracking them in the desert has proved nigh impossible. For one such as yourself, perhaps it is not entirely so." Decimus pauses for a moment, and when he continues, his voice is stronger, more inspiring, like an imperial general rallying his men. "I have worked with some respectable Vagrai in my time, many whom put their lives on the line for citizens of this great empire. Would you do the same, Vagrus? Locate our foe and strike at them? Make no mistake, I do not ask for your charity. You would be rewarded for bringing me that fiend's head." Decimus folds his arm, awaiting your response. This sounds sick. I have no idea how this is going to work, but we will try our best. We accept his offer. Decimus nods at you, his features belying true gratitude. "Good. I will assign a small detachment of my best scouts to assist you. Their eyes are sharp and their minds are quicker. They will serve you well in bloody scrap, too. As for the location of Kassar's sacred, his servant cuts in. "Apologies, Dominus. I know the general location of the sacred, too, and as such I would be more adequate company for the Vagrus in this endeavor. I am expendable, or at least unnecessary for the defense against raids. I would make myself useful in this way, guiding our friend the Vagrus to the territory stocked by Kassar." "Do not call me Dominus, Reg. You are a free man," Decimus says, not unkindly. "Are you certain that you'd forsake the protection of the compound? You are no soldier, my friend." "Provided that the Vagrus has sufficient fighting force and some tact, I do not imagine that disposing of the enemy should prove so difficult, and so my safety is no concern either," Reg states matter-of-factly, and Decimus nods before directing his gaze back to you, answering, "A fortunate turn of events. Then it is decided. Rage will show you the territory where the Hari lair can be found, supposedly. All you need to do now is prepare yourself for a search and hopefully a fight in the wasteland." You leave. Reg has joined your comitatus. Very interesting. Chart location revealed. Ah! It's due west of here. All right. I'm very interested in that. I hope there is not a time limit on that, because bring a close to the conflict. This is very cool. I cannot imagine that we will have enough inventory to be able to take on any of the loot that we get from such a place. So I'm planning to go north, hit Hactr, hit Charon Keep, come back, and then do this. So let us get on our way. Let's not waste any time. We do have 2 movements, so why don't we send our guys out? It's a long shot. We did get some supplies. And are we trying to go due north? A little to the northeast still. Or northeast still. Did I say northwest before? Oops. Oh no! Oh, wait a minute. Okay. As the Comitatus makes its way over the dunes, Decimus's manservant Rage approaches you, looking for a moment of your time. May I seek your counsel for a moment, Vagrus? You tell Rage to speak his mind. He pauses before doing so, his rat-like features screwed up in a frown. I have been ruminating on a certain matter. You and I both serve Decimus, and yet, were you to open your mind, you might like to know that this is not the only way in the conflict. House Victorious does not operate on the behest of the legate. Decimus himself is independent, and you would argue, and some would argue, inefficient too. There is an opportunity here, should you wish to entertain it. Rage calmly states, his thin smile curling at his lips. I don't like this guy. He seems like a Grima Wormtongue type person, and he's gonna get me in trouble. You command Rage to speak plainly, as you do not have time for riddles, and you tire of his droning. Ally with the Cassar and I against Decimus. I have a powerful accomplice who would like nothing more than to see the man dethroned and destroyed, and who would pay very well indeed for it. Decimus would not speak of it, but House Victorious is broke, and his force stands at the death's door. Their demise is imminent. If we can hasten their end, my benefactor will take over, and eventually we will be the ones to profit. Candidly, you ask Rage why you should not kill him on the spot, his treachery laid bare. He chuckles lightly, though there is no humor in it. When he proceeds with his proposal, his tone is as cool and calm as ever. 2 reasons. You need me, and I have served Decimus for 10 years now. Were you to take me before him, dead or alive, there would be no contest. You, a veritable stranger, and I, his loyal servant. Imagine who he'd believe. What's more, you haven't a clue about the force you're up against with Cassar. His men would cut your Comitatus to shreds in mere minutes. Even if I'm lying, why risk it? The wasteland is a cruel place, Vagrus. There are spoils to be had here, aside from any extraneous benefits. The people I work for hold sway not just in the Bronze Desert, but throughout the realms. Your deeds would not go unnoticed. With so much revealed, you are quick to put Reg to several questions. You swiftly learn that he has a plan to dispose of House Victorious quietly, then install his allies in their stead, but will not give you any specifics, he says, at least for the time being. You push Rage on the matter of Cassar. What kind of relationship do they have? Cassar is a savage, but he understands tactics. He knows what he stands to gain by taking us Ahar Kadada, and will not jeopardize that. Convincing him has not proven difficult thus far, though he is, I admit, temperamental at times. Rage observes with a cold smile before concluding himself. There is no need for you to decide just yet. Think on what I have said and allow your pragmatism to see the situation for what it is. You tell Rage that you will consider what he has said and get the Comitatus moving shortly afterwards. Interesting. I'm still very much inclined not to trust this fool, because he won't tell me who he works for. Like, why wouldn't they just get rid of me? Even if I help them. Seems too convenient. Alright, we've almost made our way to Hactr. In we go. Your Comitatus draws closer to Hactr. You are approached by several ragged, visibly battered guards, clearly functioning as perimeter patrols for the town. They are eager to conduct an inspection before you continue into the settlement. Let them inspect. We do not have enough rep with the Hanjari or the Chimera Legions, so we will have to pay taxes today. Enter the wait a minute. Only to be confronted by a young Tarkian man and his entourage of guards. At first you see at your vision's periphery, but it is not long before he is waving you down, surveying his entourage as you mirror his gesture. You're immediately struck by the inherent difference between him and the guards you just dealt with. His men are clean cut with ample weaponry, and they bear no telltale scars or marks of recent combat. At the center is the man himself, a tall, lean man wrapped in an elegant headscarf that protects his hair from the blazing sun. Numerous pieces of jewelry adorn the young man, displaying the wealth and status so important to his people. His features are pronounced, his beard and mustache groomed flawlessly. Around his deep brown eyes is the kohl popular with many Tarkians. This man is very handsome. When he speaks, his voice is rich with authority and flair. "Hold, traveler, what brings you to our wonderful Hactr?" he bellows, waving his arms expressively. Minding the situation and your identity, you greet him in kind and state your business. Regardless of the settlement's somewhat sorry state, a lack of cordiality would not befit someone in your position. He responds to your words. "Well met, then, Vagrus. I am Faroud al-Radan of the Hanjari. Should you be the enterprising sort, or if it pleases you, do join me in my abode. I am certain there is a great deal we could discuss. You shall find it in the compound at the Night Prince's Square," he says, holding a smile momentarily. Faroud then turns, barks something to his retinue in Tarkian, and they are off once more, headed toward the town square and marketplace. You will take Faroud's offer into consideration. Okay. We have missions to drop off. Turn in, turn in. We have 23 days and 29 days to reach Cairn Keep. Anything going to Cairn Keep by chance? Caverns of Largus? Does not look like it. That is fine. No rewards available. Sort our inventory. We could probably drop some of our beasts of burden then, since we got 5. And we don't really know what Cairn Keep does. So yeah, why don't we drop 2 of our beasts here? 1, 2. Perfect. And then let's fill out our supplies with as much as we can take. So, I think Jake also mentioned that I should be looking for the spyglass, or the Dwarven it's not the spyglass, the Dwarven navigation compass in Torzeg Shelter, and it's just like a random event when you explore the city. So I should honestly be exploring cities way more than I have been lately. Should we go... The largest and lushest oasis to grace the Bronze Desert also had the misfortune of straddling on top of the greatest pocket of black gold anyone has ever seen. So the verdant glade was soon corrupted into its polluted, pipe-covered, soiled current-day form. The Bandul, to whom this place is holy, would not sit idly while the Empire devastated the pristine wilderness, and a fierce war broke out that continues to this day. There's no hope of reprieve from the struggle around Hactr. Too much blood has been spilt, and too much of the oil is still to be siphoned from the land. Rough. They ruined the desert. How dare you? Make your way to this ominous gate, the Darkstone Garrison. At the center of the Hactr lies a monumental structure and symbol of the Legate's order, Darkstone Garrison. Weathered by harsh winds and battered by those who seek its destruction, the structure's wall forms an orderly rectangle around its perimeter. Where crumbling watchtowers jut out from each of its respective corners, a colossal reinforced hardwood door serves as its entrance. Just below, its Porta Principalis Sinistra, a small two-sided structure. Two-sided? Where are the other sides? That rises above the surrounding walls, providing a vantage point and additional defensive augmentations. Despite its somewhat dilapidated exterior, the garrison remains an impressive sight to behold. Can we go in? You are granted admittance. You and your companions move through the foreboding, reinforced double doors and into the garrison proper, which is comprised mostly of large, bleak, and dusty expanses where soldiers run drills and train against the backdrop of several scattered meager buildings that are presumably housed those stationed here. A direct path leads to a more sizable series of structures at the center of the complex, where the commander and his retinue are likely to be found. As you stroll into the dusty training area, some soldiers look at you, clearly mystified by your presence here. While many continue their drills and training, scarcely having noticed you, others recline at the periphery attended by the surgeons. Clearly having faced battle recently, their grim faces tell the story of a grueling campaign against the insurgent Ahari forces that beset the Hactr. We will leave this for now. I have a feeling that if we seek out the commander, we will get pulled into some more stuff, which we don't really have the capacity to do because I need to get to Cairn Keep. So 2 to 3 days away, we're doing pretty good there. So let's go ahead and quickly leave and then continue on our way. And I think I'll save my movement buff for tomorrow. Because even if we had, we wouldn't have been able to do this for distance here. Ah, we went a little too far to the east. All right, tomorrow we will reach there. This is the longest 3 distance I've ever seen. Rest, and we've reached Charon Keep. Good job, us. We did it. You are on the approach to Charon Keep. The inky blackness of its spires rear into the skies. Its robust battlements defiantly face the desert you have crossed. The path leading to the reinforced gatehouse goes through an army camp set up right outside the keep's walls. A massive congregation of people is blocking the way. Apparently, leading your comitatus through is not going to be a quick affair. Other comitati are also forced to halt their advance and wait out whatever is transpiring ahead. When you catch up to them, you have no other option to follow suit. Positioning yourself on a parched knoll, you gain a decent vantage point on the camp. Against the backdrop of the inky blackness of the spires and robust battlements of Charon Keep, hundreds if not thousands of Imperial legionnaires are standing at attention, clad in their signature armor. Wow, this looks like Barad-dûr from Lord of the Rings. Although the keep's garrison is sizable, well-trained, and well-equipped, this army cannot be it. It is simply too large, filling the entire expanse of land from the 2 comitati right in front of you all the way to the ramp leading up to the keep's walls. You can now see that these cohorts are bearing the banners of Legio 24, I think, Fortis, and have assumed their standard rectangular formations and are all looking ahead toward Charon Keep. There's a single cohort positioned ahead of the rest, with all of its soldiers on their knees in the middle of a small circular stone platform just below the fortress. In front of them, a dozen Sergeradite priests are chanting and gesturing in an animated fashion. Behind the priests, you see a slanted monolith with pottery at its feet, and a man restrained upside down upon the stone, desperately trying to break free. The unfortunate soul gets visibly nervous when an executor of Sergerad steps to the monolith he is bound to, wielding an oversized dagger. Then he himself kneels down, and with the blade held out in front of him, we watch the unfolding scene. Taking short, mincing steps while chanting in a deep, thundering voice, the priest closes in on the monolith. One of them apparently blesses the executor's blade, while the other administers a ritual on the restrained fellow. The others chant ever so loud with their arms spread out and their heads red, as if they were really angry. Then all at once they all fall silent and nod at the executor before stepping away. The executor springs to his feet in a split second and bellows with seething rage, the blast of his voice making the man shackled to the stone piss himself. Oh no, he's terrified. The Sergeradite must have attuned himself to his god during the ritual to have achieved such a frenzied state. He yells angry words with burning ire and thrusts his blade savagely into the man's subclavian triangle, causing the deep gash to instantly well with blood. He does not remove the blade from the man's body so as to keep the blood steadily flowing through the spillways carved into the monolith, right into the glazed earthenware. The executor is still howling, and the priests resume their fervent chanting as their human sacrifice is still twitching. You and your comes who manage to squeeze themselves next to you on the knoll look on as the macabre scene reaches its mortifying crescendo. When the blood ceases to flow and the berserk chanting subsides, acolytes of the church appear and pick up the pots to carry behind the clergy, who then use the contents to anoint the members of the imperial cohort kneeling on the sacrificial monolith. While they are performing these rites, the body of the now dead man is unbound and dragged away, while another human sacrifice is being led to the monolith with a sack over his head. You realize that the bound sacrificial people are criminals condemned to death. After the cohort is anointed, its men stand up and march toward the valley's northwestern entry point, led by a horseman clad with dark iron armor sitting proudly in his mighty undead battle steed's saddle. Held in his firm grasp is the banner of Ordos Negras Solis, fluttering in the desert dry wind. We keep on watching. Good grief! Long files of auxiliary battalions and camp engineers begin to walk next to inching cargo carts, scaly-skinned slareds towing siege equipment, slowly moving out of camp. Occasionally surrounded by an elite guard company, you spy cold and unfeeling undead servitors, carrying their direful consignments of black palanquins, in which their masters, ordained necromancers of a school, reside for the duration of the march. By the time they vacate the camp, another cohort takes their place before the sacrificial monolith. There are still a few cohorts left to bless, and plenty of criminals left to ritually execute. But the glorious legions of the Emperor have to march north, ready to fight the enemy. Thus this goes on for a while. The cohorts, however, are not by themselves. Plenty of chained ogres, all of them tainted, are being dragged through the dust of the camp. Their defiant ones are goaded into submission with several brutal lashes of oversized scourges, the echoes of each and every strike bouncing off the keep's mighty walls. When the last cohort is anointed and marches into the paths of glory, traffic in and out of the keep may finally resume, and you can make your way to the gatehouse. After waiting your turn in the line of chatting travelers, bleeding beasts of burden, swearing loaders, exhausted slaves, decrepit pilgrims, and fellow Vagri, you are greeted gruffly by the legionnaire guards under the shadow of the gatehouse. You spot dozens of Sergeradite warriors in the immediate vicinity, and about the same number of archers up on atop the walls overlooking the gate. This stronghold is not the place for illicit activities. That much is blatantly obvious already. Approach the guards. They are blunt and lacking in manners, yet they are not giving you a hard time, contrary to what their appearance and demeanor might suggest. In fact, you go through the process relatively quickly without being pestered or harassed at all. You and your comitatus soon find yourself inside the imposing fortress that is Cairn Keep. We walk in. We've done it. All right, cool. Well, it's a longer episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, click the like button. It helps me out a lot. If you want to see more Vagrus, the Riven Realms, or the other videos I have going on the channel, subscribe to the channel. That also helps me out a lot. But until next time, everybody, I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye, everybody.